Hello, hello, hello. I am Mr. J, and I want to talk to you a little bit about boundaries post-infidelity. This is going to be the shortest video ever, probably, because I gave a class the other day on this very topic, thinking I recorded it, but I did not. And so I'm not going to go over this long class, but what I am going to do is give you the cliff notes of this class, the condensed version. So it's going to be very short, but hopefully very informative. I always like to start my little classes with a corny dad joke, and today's is this. Why do oysters, why don't they donate? Why aren't they big with donation, oysters? And the reason is because they're very shellfish. That's why. But if you can take two deep healing breaths with me in through the nose, out through the mouth, preferably with your eyes closed, but however you feel safe. I want you to think of, you just bake some cookies or some pizza. So you're taking it out of the oven and oh my gosh, it's just so delicious. But it's a little too hot to eat, so you're trying to cool it off. So a nice soft breath. And one more time, breathing in, a gentle hold, and breathing out. All right. Boundaries post infidelity. Now, we should have boundaries all the time in every area, but certainly the topic of boundaries comes up a lot after discovery because boundaries is one of the many things that's been completely shattered on from on D-Day, well, before D-Day and after. The person who stepped out, they completely ravished and blurred boundaries. And the person that didn't step out of the relationship, maybe they allowed their boundaries to be blurred in some ways by, not leaning into their intuition or not questioning certain things their gut told them or not what have you. So both parties have to deal with boundaries post infidelity, post D-Day. Um, Now, there's internal boundaries and there's external boundaries. So there's environmental boundaries, and then we have our personal boundaries. I'll get into that in a second. The reason boundaries are important is because they create an environment of safety. So, boundaries post D-Day usually are mostly physical. So what does that mean? Like, okay, I used to have no problem with you coming up behind me and giving me a hug. Now I have a boundary where you have to ask me, hey, I'm in the room. I'd love to give you a hug. Are you open to that? Other physical boundaries could mean something like now after D-Day, I don't want to go to these restaurants anymore. I don't want you to even go to these restaurants, order from these restaurants, I go to this bar. If possible, for the next couple of weeks, maybe months, don't even drive down the same street as this bar or this restaurant, what have you. Um, so boundaries, keep in mind, are like religion. Boundaries are not to force somebody else into believing or doing something. It's to control you. So boundaries, there's a four-part series of how to create a boundary. It's a four method way of creating boundaries. And that's number one is the person's behavior. Number two, your thought. Number three, your feeling. And number four, what would keep you safe. So again, their behavior, your thought, your feeling, your request. Example, when you take your phone into the bathroom, I start thinking, Jesus, are you watching porn? Are you trying to reach out to the affair partner? I feel a whole betrayal all over again. What would make me feel safe is if you could please leave your phone outside the bathroom when you go in. So there you go. That's the four-part boundaries. It's what they're doing, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what do you need. And one of the big reasons why boundary making in this formula is successful is because in a relationship, nobody wants to be their partner's parent and no partner wants to be parentified or have a parent. And so instead of don't bring your phone into the bathroom and you don't do this and you don't do that, which is very angry and confrontational and it will lead to resentment. Now, with this four-part boundary making, you're inviting somebody to make you feel safe. So when you do this, I feel this way. I'd prefer if you do this. Oh, okay. If I can help you make you feel safe, certainly I'll take that on. So again, the four part of this is the behavior, how you think, how you feel, and what makes you feel safe. Now, those are boundaries post D-Day as far as exercising personal safety boundaries around physicality and certainly sex. Like, before this was allowed, now there's a boundary, of what have you, even down to using protection for a while or whatever the case is. But I will say this, because this class primarily is for people that are, six from 0 to 6 months post D-Day. And listen, there's no timeline or anything. If you want all these boundaries for years, fine, great and dandy if it works for both of you. But for the people that are out of this, 6, 8 month period, I really recommend you have some internal personal boundaries. And those are, I no longer will tolerate me following the AP on social media. I no longer will tolerate if I get a trigger, entertaining that trigger to the point where it brings me to my knees and I'm depressed for 3 days. I no longer will tolerate going down the street trying to find the AP's car so I can think of all the things that happened in their car. You got to give yourself personal boundaries to say, I no longer will entertain, I will no longer let this person live rent free in my mind. I no longer will. So there's external boundaries, there's internal boundaries, there's your personal private boundary, well, your personal boundaries. Um, but no matter what, creating boundaries is one thing, enforcing boundaries is another. And we can enforce boundaries with consequences. Consequence could look anything like a reminder. Hey, remember you weren't supposed to go to your boss's office and have a meeting closed doors, and you did. So this is a friendly reminder. We made a boundary. Don't do that again. Or a consequence could be like, I can't believe you went into your boss's office and closed the door. I asked you not to do that. So I feel unsafe. I'm going to sleep upstairs today. Or a boundary could be, you have to go to a hotel maybe for a couple of days because you broke a boundary. Or a boundary is, I'm going to leave and go stay with my mother for a week. Or a boundary could be, please write to me what you did wrong and explain to me what you're going to do better. So, it could be a warning, it could be a conversation, but it also could be some behavior modification as well, a consequence. But you have to enforce boundaries. So I hope you got something out of this very quick modified class. And if you have any needs or you need any help at all, never hesitate to reach out to me. Good day, take care of yourself, and God bless.